And it ain't even a question that I'm better than dudes. Difficulty level was technical. I rhyme harder than what's considered the best of you. And feel pressure cause I'm better than the rest of you. And these are motherfuckers you call a professional. Please.
Black history is great. Black history is some old pacifying bullshit. Black history is a pastor lying from the pulpit. Black history is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Bishop Eddie Long. Black history is a song with Malcolm X on the lead vocals and Chris Brown singing the hook. Black history is what domestic violence looks like the morning after. Bruised and battered, but better because deep down we know we love each other. We just have a funny way of showing it. Black history is for the kids. Black history is self-hate served at $50 a plate. The great debate over how the Negroes are going to handle the niggas. The civil war over becoming civilized. The you ain't black no more now that you done got that college degree. Black history is getting that paper that tells you you are free. Black history is getting that paper and believing it means something. Black history is getting that paper and making it rain. Black history is hilarious. Tyler Perry competes against Martin Lawrence, dressing up as precious stereotypical black women who make us laugh at ourselves for being stereotypical black people who laugh at anything that resembles us.
I hear you.
Black history is this shit right here, nigga. Black history is in a classroom we don't want to be bothered with being in. Black history is in a book we don't have time to read because we're too busy becoming black history. Okay. Well, we're from Decatur, or I am, and so I had a poem that I want to dedicate to Decatur. If we can dedicate poems to cities and stuff like that. It's called The City. The City is a poem, and so many people think poetry is supposed to rhyme. Poetry is for the people, and since I write poetry, I suppose I'm supposed to rhyme. Line after line, scene matched with scheme, quotes matched with notes for the people I write for, the people I fight for, and since I fight with words, I write with courage, so I wrote the first portion of this poem for the people I write for. Moderately militant man whose choices were limited, vigorously defended the people. What was the benefit? The people that he considered equals but never exceeded the limits of the city felt somehow he was sedity. They never listened to him. The streets became a prison to him, and he never left an influence. Just went on living, doing what he could to get by, watching his people get high. Imagine the life of this guy. I'm living it now, and still I am proud of the place I come from. The city is a poem, and so many people want to be entertained by the rhythm. Poetry is more rhythm than rhyme, more existence than time. We're here, so we're living the poem, and if we focus hard enough, we can feel its pulse. We are the city, even though the city isn't us. Just like prison isn't cuffs, still you know you can't leave. The city isn't me, but I am it. The prison isn't him, but he's still in prison, like so many people in the city who haven't realized it yet, because it's not the building, it's what's inside. The city is a poem, and the second portion of this poem is dedicated to that. The city, founded on incorporated lives, and like-minded folks who believe the people whose backs were broken, building the buildings, hands hardened, fixing the buildings, daughters raised, cleaning the buildings, sons slaved, funding the buildings, grandchildren picketed outside of the buildings, can never live peacefully inside the buildings. The city, where a hanging noose runs perpendicular and parallel to the law, so it's okay if you can get away with it. It's just a prank if nobody hangs in it, and the people who take offense to it should all just lighten up, because we all know there's no racism in this city. The city where a killing is an event. Scratch that. The city where if killing black folks were an Olympic event, niggas would make a killing, winning medals at every level. And if killing niggas merited a win, the Windy City's bid to host the Olympics would have made at least a little sense. Where if awards were given for the deaths of black and brown people would win the gold. The silver would be a toss-up between messed up health and messed up health care, and the bronze would have to go to the boys in blue. The city where not being from the city is the coolest thing you could be, because the city has an identity problem. So if you have a job and some business of your own, people say, you're not from around here, are you? Where going to college makes you a standout when you come home, even if at school you are the most ignorant nigga there. But even that's a given. You're just repping your city. The city where unemployment levels are so high that everybody that claims to be about their business cannot be telling the truth. Where everybody is so busy being about everybody else's business that apparently they mistake it for their own. Where the people who can do for self, and the people who can't do don't matter much to those who can.
Come on.
The city is a poem that is more about perception than progress. So this is a poem that is meant to be performed and not read, because the city would never dare take a risk on teaching you how to read. Rather, it will tell you what you should know about yourself, and you will never dare pick up the paper to read it, because this poem could actually make you literate.
Yeah.
The city is a poem that is more about capability than culpability. So this poem is meant to be heard and not dwelled upon too much, because the city doesn't want you thinking too much about the possibilities. It would rather you cower to what's known and expected. So you will never dare think outside the lines and limits of the city, because this poem could actually move you. The city is a poem, the kind of poem that has good intentions, and we all know that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, so I'm pretty sure the road to hell is paved with poems like this one, piled by the roadside along with lost hopes and dashed dreams, all deferred for the moment that you sit silent, say nothing, and listen to the poem that wants so much, that means so much, but does nothing but entertain you, nothing to change you, in effect, nothing at all. The kind of poem that hopes to, but won't make you stop abusing her with your hands or heart. Won't give you the gumption to get up and leave him. And even if it does, just minutely move you in the moment once it's over, when the poem so ever so cowardly retreats back to the page on which it was written, hidden between the lines, creased down the middle, perfectly perforated, folded, and tucked away neatly in the lining of my pocket, or dwelling between the covers of a book with its brethren where it belongs, it does no more. The kind of poem that is meant to do so much, because that's what poems are designed to do, especially poems that are metaphors for greater things like the city. But this poem will not feed any hungry children tonight. This poem will not rescue those young souls from the desolate depths of solitude and coddle them, and they will starve while you sit here in comfort listening to a poem about them. The city is a poem. Poetry is for the people. The poem is not you, but you are the poem. Like the prisoner who takes his prison everywhere he goes. Like the traveler who carries his baggage from place to place to place. The city is a poem, and the poem is about you, because the poem surrounds you. So the third portion of this poem is dedicated to changing what goes on inside the poem, since it is what the city is. And it is what we are. Let's start changing this poem.
AD, man, you gotta listen hard to him, man. He quick with it. That boy is good.